What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you once again. We have the PGA DFS and Bet Show. We're going to change things up moving forward. We're going to use this time slot in this show to really highlight. We're going to go through our same process. We're going to go tier by tier, like we do each and every week when we're covering the golf winners. But we're going to use Saberson, and here's how we're going to do it, kind of like an around the horn type of format. We got my guy Snyder, we got Uncle T, both guys coming in on heaters, by the way, absolutely on fire. But you'll see here, like, projections in golf is always kind of an interesting discussion point. Don't worry about the projection. I have it set to where every golfer is basically lined up from a value to be similar from a value standpoint. We're going to go through, and as these guys and myself, we're talking through each tier, I'm going to bring players into the pool. I'm going to bump them up. I'm going to bump them down based off of the conversation that we're having. And what we want to do is we want to, highlight Saberson and, try to help all of you out there figure out different ways to use it, especially for PGA DFS. And then we're going to create a show pool and a show bill. So a format that I think is going to be interesting, a lot of fun moving forward. But I digress. Let's bring the fellas in. Uncle T, let's bring you in first. Both you guys are coming on heaters, absolutely on fire. Uncle T with the shipper last week at the CJ Cup. Uncle T, how's it going? What golfers got it done for you last week?
Yeah, first off, great to be back on another show with you two, breaking down some golf. It's always one of the best hours of my week, sitting talking some golf with you two. It was definitely a very good week. I shipped the $44, and then again on Sunday as the weekend kind of went on Saturday, I kind of knew, obviously I had a nice 6 of 6, which is always, when you're looking at really shipping and getting up in there in all of your tournaments, you got to have that 6 of 6 lineup, which I did. As Saturday kind of progressed through the round, I knew I was moving up quite a bit in all my tournaments. And Sunday came, and everything kind of went good. I know Birdie Fest for the most part, it's hard to maintain your ground and it's hard to catch up at times. It just depends because, with no tough scoring out there and maybe bogey holes or for the most part, double bogey holes, you're going to get a lot of guys move up and down the leaderboard in late. So, I think the leaders were on maybe 14 fairway or 15 tee box, and I moved all the way up to tied for first in the 200K. Thought I really had a pretty decent chance. I had some, I think it was 14 holes left, which was 3 of my guys. Just didn't work out. I ended up, obviously, I think I slid down to 12th, which was obviously still a nice finish and everything.
It's fun to have that, Uncle T. It's fun to have that sweat. I had a couple at the very start of the year, and in the 200K up top, it's insane. It's insane as you're going through those closing holes. So
and I think the ones, and you guys have seen it. I mean, even going back a couple years real quick when Big T won the Players Championship for the Millie, he had that big eagle from Bryson on. I think it was 16 that year at the Players, maybe, or I think it was 16. And those 8 points come in handy. It just didn't work out for me this week. KH Lee eagled 18. He was pretty popular. And then also one of the last few groups as well, Benny On, birdied 4 of the last 6, I think. So looking back at the big tournament, obviously the 200K, the people that finished ahead of me, I finished 12th. Every one of them had at least one or both of Benny On or KH Lee. Or SH Kim. I'm sorry. I said KH Lee. SH Kim. And, but that's the way it goes. It was a good build. I had Pendrith. It's actually a build. I was talking to Snyder offline. I had you guys know I had some dental work done last Wednesday. I was on some medication while I was building my teams. And I built my last team. I wanted to get a Pendrith team because I really liked him. And I actually wanted to get one Adam Scott team. So I built the team late, but it built it around the guys that we talked about on the show. We liked Lauer. We liked Yeager. Snyder was real high on Yeager. He came through, but again, not to go too deep into it. We got a good tournament this week. And then next week's the PGA here locally. I'm going down both days on the weekend next week at Valhalla. So I'm looking forward to that.
Boots on the ground, baby. Boots on the ground.
Love it. What's up, Jason?
Yeah, we got Jason in the chat. We got Kevin. Richie Smalls, what's going on, fellas? Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Uncle T winners. On to Snyder winners. Snyder also on a heater right now, just absolutely on fire, whether it's, grinding slots, horses, the ponies. I mean, Snyder, how's it going, my man? And let's, we have a lot to get through, guys. So Snyder, talk to us and then break down the course this week. Quail Hollow, the Wells Fargo Championship.
Yeah, looking forward to getting into this event. I didn't play as much last week, PGA-wise. I threw in like 20 lineups or something. Didn't have the best week there, but definitely did well on the ponies. Hit a couple of big trifectas, hit a few other long shots that came in. Had the Derby winner as well there with the 3-horse. I can't remember its name.
Mystic Dan.
Mystic Dan. Once that track kind of capped off, I knew the closers were going to be there, and both of them were right there at the end. But yeah, it was a fun event. Had a sweat there for a little bit with Jake Knapp too. I had a 90-1 ticket on him. He couldn't really do much on Sunday, which was hurtful there. But we can get into this event though this week. We're at a big boy course here, one of my favorite tracks of the year. We're at Quail Hollow this week. Par 71. It's going to measure 7,558 yards. It presents a tough test of golf here for this no-cut elevated event this week. Distance is king here off the tee. And fairways are going to be right around 31 to 35 yards wide on average. Quail did do some renovations to the property last year. They were closed for around 4 months last year. They reopened last September to play. They added some trees to some landing areas on about 8 holes. They also softened some of these slopes on the greens also to kind of better showcase some of these hole locations at higher speeds. So we should see some newer pin placements this week than usual. These Bermuda grass greens are going to measure 6,578 square foot on average. It's going to be rolling at around 12 on the stent meter. Golfers are going to see 7 holes with water in play here. The rough will be right around 2 inches in height as well. The green mile here is the final 3 holes is one of, if not the toughest 3-hole stretch in golf here. Number 16 also received a new tee box last year as well. It's going to add 23 yards to the hole. The par 4 is now going to play 529 yards. The par 3s are going to average over 200 yards here as well. The par 4s average over 450 as well. So long par 4s, long par 3s, a lot of length in this track. And the 3 par 5s are going to be averaging 572 yards as well. So we're going to see over 30% of the approach shots going to be coming from over 200 yards this week. Over 70% of the approach shots will be coming from at least 150, making mid to long iron play king here. Some of the other key stats we look at in the straight this week: strokes gained off the tee, emphasis on distance, approach, proximity, 175 and above, bogey avoidance, and then strokes gained short game as well.
Yeah, very good. Big boy track. Yeah, a couple other things to note. It's a no-cut event, I believe, and smaller field as well. Past winners, Wyndham Clark, Rory, and Max Homa, the last 3 winners here at Quail Hollow. Let's get into it. We got Saber Sim up. We're going to go tier by tier. Again, everyone is clicked out. We are going to reintroduce the players back in, and we're going to alter the projections based off of what kind of our consensus is, and I'll have the final say, but I'm going to lean on you two for most of this. So you got to sell me on either, players you like, players you don't like, etc. That's how we're going to do it. Uncle T, I'm going to start with you. And how we do it each and every week, if you're new with us, we go tier by tier. So we're going to start with the studs. We're going to go 10K and up. No Ludwig Oberg this week. Sad about that because I think we all would have been very high on him. And the field has to be very happy about this decision because this dude is an absolute machine. And this course sets up so well for him. So anyways, he is out. So we are talking Wyndham Clark up to Rory. So yeah, just 3 guys up here. Then we'll go to 9K, 8K, etc. Uncle T, we'll start with you.
Yeah, another player that the field is happy that is not in it besides Ludwig is our boy Scotty. We kind of built all 3 buried the headline. No Scotty. It gives obviously these guys a chance to get a big boy event under their belt and get that title and get the big payday. So without Scotty up there, and then obviously Ludwig, I think, was 10-3, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's definitely going to bunch these other 3 guys up. I'm seeing at least off of, I think, our site, right? I think Andy might have put some projections up early. I haven't even seen a ton of projections yet. So, Snyder, if any of these are off, let us know. But, like all these guys up top, they're going to come in low to mid 20s. I think Rory could probably get up there a little bit more in some of the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide this so it doesn't throw you off. Because
okay.
I wouldn't trust the early ownership projections that are up there. So I'm going to hide that. We're going to focus on our projection and our player pool and the players that we like.
Yeah, and again, starting up with Rory at 11-8, he's clearly, this is, I'm not breaking any news here. It's one of his favorite courses, obviously. And another thing about this course too, I mean, it's been a championship course, with obviously playing some the major in it that I think Rory won here. Maybe 2015 or so. I can't remember the actual date, but, 3-time champ here. He's off the team win with his boy Shane Lowry at the Zurich. You might not want to put a whole lot into that, but, it's a team event. It's kind of a fun week for him. But, hey, it does give him positive vibes. I mean, he was sitting singing, afterwards with Lowry. So, I don't know, a couple weeks to reflect on at least getting back in the winner's circle. And he's been playing really well as well. He's kind of built his resume back up heading into this spring and summer here. So I like Rory. I'm going to play quite a bit of Rory. 11-8 is definitely a fair price tag. Xander Schauffele, he's the one that, again, you just feel like at some point he's going to break through. And when he does, maybe he rips off 2 or 3 in a 5-6 week span. But right now, he's doing everything right. I mean, this course, you want to talk about setting up fairly nicely. Other than Rory, there's plenty other guys that are courses for horses, or horses for courses that we'll talk about that play well here. But runner up to Clark last year, I don't think it was close though. I think it was maybe a 3 or 4 shot difference between him and Wyndham Clark last year. But Xander with 7 top 10s this year. He's always a guy we like to target in the no cut events as well. So you got Xander there, and then you got Wyndham at 10-5. So, again, without Ludwig in there, Wyndham at 10-5, I think Wyndham could be the guy that people might not go to. He's a defending champ. You get a $1,000 discount from Xander and $1,300 discount from Rory. I normally I don't say this when we come on these shows at all. I try to pick, there's only 3 up here. I kind of like all 3, and I'd rank them probably Rory, Clark, and then Xander. But for no other reason that I think that the price discount on Clark, and I was playing with some lineups earlier, you could make some builds with 2 of these 3. Now, the 6K range this week, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in that 6K range, especially in a no-cut event. I don't mind the stars and scrubs approach this week, guys. So, for me, I'm in on all 3, and I don't want to kind of cop out, but I'm going to have all 3 of them in my pool.
I agree with a lot of what you said, and I put all 3 into our pool right now. So we'll have to see what Snyder says. It's a big boy course, okay? Wyndham Clark, obviously. Rory, obviously. Mojo coming in. Maybe Snyder will agree. We'll see. Xander has been so consistent, and then Wyndham Clark is just Wyndham Clark. The course sets up well for him, obviously. So Snyder, what's your thoughts on the 10K and up range?
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that I will play Rory at. I like playing him here anytime he tees it up here. Over 46 rounds of play here. He owns a plus 2.5 strokes gain metric here, which is incredibly high for that big of a sample size. So Rory finally got off the schneid there last week, as Uncle T was saying. I love to see what he did after that. He was drinking some beer, singing some karaoke, having a good time. It looked like he was kind of at free there for one of the first times we've seen in a long time. So maybe Rory's kind of letting loose a little bit back into his old swing and such there. So I'm going to be playing some Rory up top. I think he's going to be a little less owned than Xander. I'm going to be fading Xander this week. I think Xander's a great T10 bet, but I just don't think he's got that much win equity as much as Rory or Wyndham. I mean, we got Mr. Ham at 1K cheaper who has a lot more win equity, I feel, than Xander does right now. Clark's played these elevated events very good. He was T2 at the API, T2 at the Players. He isn't going to have to worry about Scotty beating him in one of these 2 events here this week as well. So
Come on, man.
Beefy.
Come on.
Rory, that's usually true, except that
I bumped him up the highest. I bumped him up the highest. You guys sold me. You guys sold me on Rory. I bumped him up the highest.
I'm going to play Rory this week. Definitely not playing Rory next week, though. I don't play Rory at majors, but I will play him this week, though. I think this is a great field for him. I'm on Rory, and I'm on Clark for sure. Clark is number one in distance off the tee over the last 36 rounds, and he's hitting greens in regulation at a 73% clip, too, which is at the top of the field, at top of this field for this week as well. So bombs it off the tee, hits the greens at the highest rate in the field. So Clark is going to be a main guy for me this week. I'm going to have more Clark than Rory, but I'm going to have Rory in the pool as well.
All right, so here's the tiebreaker and a couple other things, guys. It's a no-cut event, smaller field. We got to make some cuts, okay? We can't play everyone. And Uncle T, like I came in with the same mindset as you with this top range where it's like, man, you could make the argument to play all three, and you could potentially play two in one build. 100% with you on that. Kind of sold with what Snyder said and just why Rory and Wyndham a little bit better than Xander here, especially when we're looking at tournaments. Xander, bye-bye. We're taking you out. Let's get to the 9K range. Snyder, I'm going to start with you this time. We're going to switch it up. Hopefully I don't mess that up. 9K and up range. You got your boy, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay. I mean, this is an interesting range. What are you doing with the 9K guys?
Right now, I'm not extremely sold on any of these guys in the 9K range. Kind of like the guys a little cheaper than a little better. But I'm going to be playing some Morikawa for sure. I always play him at around 15%. He's a minus 120 favorite over Hovland and a minus 135 favorite over Hovland in the betting streets. So it's good to see there. I'm going to have some Morikawa. I mean, the game just doesn't look prime, though. I mean, he had a good run at the Masters, played well at the Heritage. Just you still see some of those misses, though. You can't really miss that much here either, but he's a great ball striker. He's going to hit the fairways. Going to be in on Morikawa at 9.3. I think that's a fair price tag. Homa, I could maybe get there. I think he's going to be the highest owned of this 9K range, though, so we'll have to see where I go there. I do like Fleetwood, though. I think I'm going to go Fleetwood a little above Homa. I think I like how Fleetwood sets up for this track. He's playing well. He's off the tee, has been good. He's really good around the green, too, which you're going to be able to scramble at this place, too. So I think I like Fleetwood's short game pretty good here. I'm really worried about Hovland and Thigala's short game here, especially the around the green play. Both of them have been struggling around the green last 36 rounds. Hovland's kind of back into that little slump he had. He kind of looked like he had it figured out around the green, and now he's kind of regressing again around the green over the last 36 rounds. But, I mean, he's great off the tee. It wouldn't surprise me if he's there, but I'm going to go Morikawa 1 and then Fleetwood 2 probably for me in this 9K range.
Yeah, very good. And as you guys see, a little around the horn type of format. You guys make good arguments, good points. I'm going to bump them up. And if it goes the other way, the bad arguments, bad points, I'm going to bump them out, bump them down, or keep them out of the pool. So let's keep it going. Uncle T, 9K range. Curious, very curious to see what you're doing with Colin Morikawa, Snyder's boy. I think he's an interesting play this week. I had him in my pool right now. I kind of liked him, but where are you at, Mr. Colin Morikawa in the 9K range?
Yeah, we'll start with him since you guys are talking about him. He's a guy that I actually don't mind playing him. He obviously went through the tougher stretch 3-4 weeks ago. Started to play real well, obviously, at the Masters, and then continued it, I should say, at the Heritage. I don't know that the thing I worry about Morikawa here is maybe the length of the course. And I know we've said that and used that as a crutch against Morikawa in the past, but I think it's at least worth noting, right? But I think Snyder brought up a good point. 9,300 is a pretty good fair price tag for Morikawa here. So I'll be honest, I'm waffling on Morikawa. I don't know how I feel about him. He did miss the cut here last year, but he's a guy I'm unsure of. I'll be honest with you. I think the price tag is fair. He's 22-1 to win the golf tournament. So I can keep him in, or I can kind of X him out before as the next couple of days go. At the bottom, I'll go ahead down the bottom of the board. Hovland, one of these weeks, and it's probably not going to be this week, and it probably won't be next week, but there's one of these weeks, Hovland, unless he totally tears it up this week or next week and plays well, I want to try to figure out how I can start buying back in at a low price on Hovland. I just don't think it's here. I mean, he's 9,200. We've seen him up in the high 9Ks and even in the low 10Ks in some tournaments, months ago. His game clearly has fallen off. Like Snyder said, he's kind of went back into his tough, around the green game. His confidence is gone. So I don't think I can play Hovland here. And Theegala, again, struggles a little bit around the green. But the thing about Theegala is every time I don't play this guy, he puts lights out. He just makes every putt.
I'm with you, man.
And
every time. It's every time. Like, it's crazy.
I played him at the Masters, which a lot of people did. I think all three of us probably did at the Masters. Obviously, he disappointed there for T45. Then he does bounce back with a runner-up finish to Scheffler at the Heritage. So, again, Theegala is kind of like my guy can never get right. I will say that. But at this point, the bottom two of the board there at the 9K range, I'm probably out on. I like more of this upper 9K range. I'll start with Cantlay. He's a guy, again, that he just feels like this season hasn't gone kind of how he – the Cantlay seasons have gone the last couple years. He did finish T3 last time out at the Heritage. I don't mind him on tougher courses. It feels like he's more of a grinder on some of these tougher courses. T21 here last year, I'm okay with him. I think the two guys that are more interesting are Fleetwood and Homa, and I got different opinions on both. Let's start with Fleetwood. Fleetwood, guys, just a month ago at the Masters, he was 7,500. Think about that, 7,500. I know you don't have Scheffler, you don't have Rahm, you don't have Brooksy as far as the strength of the field from the Masters, but still 7,500 he was at the Masters just a month ago. He's 9,500. So if you can kind of stomach paying that large price tag, I think Fleetwood could be a tremendous play here. Again, his game is really, really playing well right now. Consistent, confident in each part of his game. 2 good finishes here the last couple of years. No problems with him. But I'm going to eat the chalk, Snyder, on Homa. Homa's my favorite in this range, and tune in a little bit later as well. I just think this course, his confidence level when he comes here and plays is off the charts. And I think actually he won. Didn't he win in 2022 when it was at the other
it was at a different course. Yeah, it was like
so you got to even throw that in there as well. But yeah, for me, I like the top end of this board, guys. I like Cantlay, Fleetwood, and Homa. And then I don't know about, again, Morikawa. I don't have any reason to X him, but definitely Hovland and Theegala are probably my two guys that are definitely out for me in this range.
Yeah, I think we all agree on Hovland, Theegala. Cantlay, it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like Cantlay should be down, like right in line with some of these guys. I thought your points on Tommy Fleetwood were really interesting. Maybe the high price tag keeps ownership down. And then I love the points on Max Homa. But this range, it's like I don't want to go crazy. Like I think even giving a little bit more love to the big boys up top, I think just a gradual bump in this range is what the consensus sounds like. And I feel like that sounds that feels pretty good. So let's keep it. Let's get to the 8K range. Snyder, we're back to you. We got Hideki Matsuyama at the top of this range, all the way down to Brian Harman. And it'll be interesting. Big boy course. Is Brian Harman going to get any love from either of you guys? Starting with you, Snyder.
Yeah, I like Hideki, my guy Hideki up here at the top.
We got JBC on the show. Can hear Uncle T. Can hear you typing away.
Oh, my bad.
You're good.
But yeah, I like Hideki this week quite a bit. I think he's a good big time big boy kind of course kind of guy there. He's been really good around the green. The short game's been there around the green wise for him the last 36 rounds. He's been hitting the greens regulation at a high clip. In on Hideki, I think Hideki's better than some of the guys that I'm passing on in the low 9K range. And I think Cameron Young's another guy who can just bomb it off the tee. This course is set up really well for him. I'm going to be high on Cameron Young. Cameron Young's outright odds are really good, too, compared to guys around him. So I'm in on Cameron Young. He's right there. He's actually a dog to JT in the betting markets and the matchups, which is kind of wild.
I might be back on my boy. We'll see.
Yeah,
I wrote him off there for like 2 weeks. I might be back on. We'll see.
I think I need to get on I mean, I played JT. I didn't play him in that last event, but I loaded up on him in Showdown rounds 2, 3, and 4. They just kept him like in that low 7K range.
Snyder, I remember. I got your text. You were like texting me all day, like easiest money of my life playing JT, and I didn't play. I didn't play him. You did. I didn't. And so just again, another nug, another dig at me. I mean, God, JT. I mean, look, if I get back on him, maybe everyone should get off. Maybe that's how it should be. But for now, I'm putting him in the pool.
Yeah, the ball striking was there for him in that last event. I mean, it just all comes down to the putter with JT, though. Normally, if he can make some putts, he can definitely. I mean, he's a really good value, though. I think in this field. 8,500. So I'm going to have some JT. I'd rather play JT than Spieth, Henley, Noren. I'd rather play him than any of those guys. Siwoo's fine. I'd rather play JT over Fitzpatrick as well. So I think it's just going to be like Hideki, Cameron Young, and JT in this range. And I will sprinkle in some Benny On. Benny On's actually low-key been like one of the longest guys off the tee last 36 rounds. He's averaging 308 off the tee. So Benny On sneakily has been long off the tee. Just comes down to that putter with Benny On too. So Benny On is a great like large field GPP play. I think this week. Nothing. I will go like crazy overweight on, but yeah, I'm pretty invested in Hideki and Cameron Young at the top of this range, and I'll be probably even with the field on JT. I bet I think JT is probably going to come in somewhere in that 17 to 23% range, somewhere in there. So I'll probably be even with the field on JT there.
I mean, like the thing about it, like a chalky JT, it's just like it never works, man.
This is coming from AP. Come on board with us.
No, I am. I clicked him in. He's in the pool. He's in there. I'm just telling you, from a guy that like played him every event last year and got absolutely owned, like bent over, week in and week out, bent over, constantly bent over. I'm just telling you, whenever he was like the times to play him were when he was, not chalk, when he was like 5 to 7% owned, and then it's like when he was in the nut spot, he would always disappoint. It was insane. I gotta have him in there though. The price is too nice. The odds are good. I love the matchup stuff. Great stuff all around. Snyder, Uncle T, 8K range. What are you doing about some of these guys? And also talk about Matt Fitzpatrick as well. Added some distance off the tee. Should be able to compete. Obviously, he's a major winner at a track like this.
Yeah, let me go through the fades for me in this range. I got some what is it?
I mean, Chris is not wrong. He's not wrong. He's
going to break the trend this week, but
someone just kicked me in the nuts already.
Let me go through the fades first because I have some a little bit different opinion than Snyder, but although I'm on board with Hideki at the top, I think 8,900 is again clearly a good fair price tag for him. Rested since the T38 at the Masters, 4 top 15s this year, one at the Genesis a couple months ago. I like Hideki there. I'm out on Cam Young, and again, it might be a little bit of bias again, like I have with Thigala a little bit in my mind. I just can't get the guy right. I don't think he's a winner. I think he can get up in there, play well for a couple rounds. He can't put all 4 together. I realize the golf course sets up pretty well for him. Big bomber, you know what I mean? Hits it long. I don't know that he can make enough putts, you know what I mean, to contend this week. Maybe I'm proven wrong. I do like the odds. I agree with you. Usually I'm a Vegas guy and like to look at that. Snyder as well. He's going to be pretty high owned. I'd rather take Hideki over Cam Young up at the top of the board here. So I'm out on Cam Young, I think, at least as of right now, unless you guys kind of really talk me into it, AP. Fitzpatrick, I do like Fitzy here. Like they mentioned, he added some length. I like him. He's another guy I like to play on the tougher tracks a little bit. He plays well on the par 5s, T5 at the Players. He's been putting, pretty good. I like Fitzy here. Not bad at all price tag. JT, our guy JT. 22 to 1 to win. I'm going to buy back in. 8,500 is just way too cheap here. He kind of got back to a good feeling of golf, T5 at the Heritage with the new guy on the bag. I don't know, a couple weeks off since then. He won the PGA here in 2016 or 17. I don't know, AP. I think we got to stick with our guy JT here. I like him quite a bit. Could make my main team as well. I'm out on my guy Spieth, though, and it pains me to say it, but I haven't been on him the last couple of weeks. I kind of learned my lesson. Until I see some form similar to Hovland, I just can't do it. I'm not putting my money behind guys that are coming in poor form, and just if they randomly, if Spieth randomly shows up and finishes or wins this tournament, I probably won't do well this week, and that's fine. We'll just move on to the PGA. But I couldn't see playing Jordan Spieth right now. The only thing you could say about him is he has got a cheap price tag, and he's going to be pretty low owned. He's going to be 4 or 5% owned. So if you wanted to play that angle, I get it. It's just not going to be for me. I'm out on Henley as well. I do like Noren, though. I think Snyder said he wasn't in on Noren. See, now Noren's the other guy, the opposite of Sahith and Cam Young. I've been riding Noren for the last 2 months, and he's just been cashing tickets for me every week with high finishes. And I'm just going to keep playing him. I've
been playing some Noren too. I just don't think this course sets up well for him.
I didn't say the course didn't set up well for Cam Young. If you remember, I said the course does set up well for him.
Now for Noren.
Oh, no, I'm reading. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the comment by the guy in the chat. I didn't say yeah. So I'm out on Cam Young. If he beats me too, he beats me. But yeah, I'm in on Noren. Benny on, I'm indifferent on. Obviously, he played well last couple weeks. I don't know. The 3 missed cuts here kind of staring me right in the face. He hasn't played the course very well. Out on Brian Harmon. Tony Finau's an interesting one. I haven't played a whole lot of Tony Finau, but he's all the way down to 8K flat. And he feels like he's a little bit cheap here. He's going to come in with some ownership, I'm sure. But T12 at the Heritage last time out, I don't know. It just feels like it could be maybe a buyback end spot here for Tony Finau at a cheap price tag of 8K.
Yeah, I actually like that. I'm gonna bring him. Some of these guys we're not going crazy on. We're giving little bumps. Well, yeah. We're not going crazy with – hold on, Snyder. We're not going crazy. I like the guy – 8K for Tony Finau. I like that more than Noren. I don't really – I got to X Noren. We're going to give you Tony Finau. Uncle T, we're giving you Tony Finau. I like that. We like Benny on. And the thing about Benny on and why we're bringing him back in, and we gave him a couple bumps. It would be funny if we had a noise every time I clicked up on the projection. That'd probably be annoying over time. But Benny On's just driving it so much further right now. Love that comment from you, Snyder. Hideki, Cam Young. I brought Cam Young back down a little bit. I like Cam Young. Snyder, I like what you had to say with him on there. And then, yeah, we're all on JT. I think me and Uncle T a little bit more than Snyder, but it's a price thing. Ball striking is there. He's had some time off, like you guys said. He's got to turn the corner at some time. And no Scotty, no Ludwig. I mean, the time is now. What's our guy Big T saying? The time is now?
Yeah.
Yeah, the time is now. And then, yeah, we all agree on Spieth, Henley, Noren. Get those guys out of there. All right, I like that. So we went a little crazy on JT, but we're not going too crazy. The 8 value is kind of that core play type of range. We haven't got there yet. We'll go back through, and I might add in from time to time, thinking back through. But yeah, we haven't got any core play tags yet. 7K range. Where are we at? Snyder first or Uncle T first? I think Uncle T first.
Yeah, I think Uncle T's up first this time.
All right, Uncle T. 7K range. A lot of options down here, obviously. JT Poston all the way up to Willie Z.
Yeah, some pretty good guys in this range, like always. I think we got 20 golfers in the 7K range this week. Starts all the way up with Willie Z. 7,900 is just an insulting price tag for Willie Z. He could easily be $1,000 more expensive in this field. But yeah, 7,900 Willie Z, sign me up. 35-1 to win the golf tournament. Hasn't played since his T44 at the Heritage. Obviously, I think he didn't necessarily have any injury. I think he just withdrew from the next tournament. I think it was more precautionary more than anything. It thought he was playing too much golf. knew he had this tournament coming up and then the PGA. I think he more or less did it. Similar to probably Ludwig. I don't think Aubert had a ton wrong with him. I think he just needed a week off, to be honest with you. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think. T9 at the Masters for our boy Willie Z. So, yeah, Willie Z is going to come in with a little bit of ownership, but I don't mind it. Like him quite a bit. Out on Sung Jae for sure. Just not going to play this guy. T8 here last year, but his form hasn't been great. I know he finished T12 last time out. But, yeah, I can't trust him here even at 7,900. Corey Connors and Jason Day are interesting because they feel like they're pretty safe, if that's, maybe safe in this range. Both been playing pretty good golf. Jason Day's off back-to-back missed cuts here, so that worries me a little bit. Hasn't had a top 10 since his T9 at the Genesis all the way back in February. So I'm probably a little less confident in Jason Day than I am Corey Connors. Good ball striker. Again, lengthy course here for him. Won't have as many wedges in these guys' hands. Long course, they're going to have longer wedges into these greens. Connors is a good ball striker. I'll keep Connors in there. Adam Scott's a guy I had last week, and actually he grades out pretty well, but it looks like he's going to be pretty popular. I had him starred as a guy that I liked, but it looks like he's going to carry quite a bit of ownership in this area or section, and I don't know that I want to eat 16, 18% Adam Scott. So I might be out on Scotty. I do like Sam Burns. Just feels like it's more of a price play. Used to seeing him more in the low to mid 8K range, and he's 7,700. Also 35 to 1 to win the golf tournament. So I like Sammy Burns here. Feels like
new dad narrative too, right?
I wanted to ask you guys about that. Did they confirm he did have it?
I'm not sure.
His wife had it.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, check in
Chat
that,
can help us out.
If that's not a concern at all, I think Burns is going to come in. I'm seeing like 4 or 5% on Burns if that's true. So if that's not a worry for us, I like Burnsy. I'm out on Lowry, out on our boy Bezadenhout. Out on both of them guys. Now, the middle of this range, I think, there's 3 guys in this 7K range that are underpriced. Zalatoris, I think Akshay Bhatia, 7,500, our boy Steven Yeager. I think these guys are all 3 of the they're just mispriced in my opinion. So I'm going to be all over Bhatia and Yeager, going right back to the well here with Steven Yeager. He's been crushing for us. Again, mid 7K range here are going to fit nicely into really whatever kind of build you want to start with up top. So I like both of those guys. The only other 2 guys at the bottom of this range that I like, I'll be anxious to hear what you guys think about Pendrith coming off the win. But I like Denny McCarthy here a little bit. Runner-up at Valero, T8 here last year. More of a hunch play on Denny. Just feels like 7,300, again, is a nice filler piece. And then a guy I like the most in this bottom range is Adam Schenk for sure. 55 to 1 to win the golf tournament. He's a guy that, we're used to seeing him in the low to mid 6Ks earlier in the year, up to higher 6Ks. Now he's into the low 7K range in one of these signature events. I think it's too cheap for Adam Schenk. I think he could be in that mid 7K range, and he's only 7,100. So I like some Adam Schenk. Mixed results here, but I think he's a much, much better golfer now than when he played here in the last couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. Snyder, over to you. A lot of great mentions there from Uncle T, 7K range. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, I definitely like Bill Z there with Uncle T there. I think he's actually
it's got to be our first core play. Like, get him over the 8 value, right? It's a misprice.
Yeah.
Bill Z at 7,900 playing really well. I think we all 3 agree on that, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and right now, I'm not even seeing his ownership that crazy. I think Noren's going to be higher owned, Finau's going to be higher owned, Connors is going to be higher owned, Adam Scott's going to be higher owned. So I think at the moment, I think we're going to get a decent ownership on Bill Z also. So sign me up for Bill Z. Last time he was in that 7K range was earlier this year, and I think I had like 70% of him, and I can't remember how he did well. These are the tracks that I like to play Will Z on, these longer, tougher tracks. I hate playing him in Birdie Fest. I won't play him in Birdie Fest. So we get a tougher track. I'm definitely in on him. I think it might have been the Genesis or the Farmer or something right there. He was on a tear there to start the year. People were kind of worried about him at the start of the year. That's right. He was 7,900 at the Amex. and then 7,900 at the Genesis. It looks like he was T2 at the Genesis, longer track. He was T13 at the Farmers, which is kind of a comp course to this too, kind of a longer Bombers place there. And he was T5 at the API in an elevated event too. And then he was T10 at the Masters. So these bigger type events, I love playing Zalatoris. So I'm going to be well overweight on Zalatoris this week. So sign me up for Bill Z. I'm going to be off of M probably. It's kind of a weird deal here. Sungjae M and Jaeger are matched up in the matchup markets. Jaeger opened a -120 favorite, but now it's actually swung in Sungjae's favor. Sungjae is now -120 against Jaeger, which is kind of interesting. I think I'm going to be off Sungjae, though, still. I'm actually not going to play Connors either. He just hasn't been playing that great. I'd rather play some guys under him. Connors, if he gets like T35 again this week, I mean, that's not going to be doing any favors.
Real quick, though, on Sungjae, he got the win overseas, and then he came back here in what, T12? Is that right?
He withdrew last week. Yeah. He withdrew last week.
Yeah, he withdrew.
Okay, T12 at the RBC Heritage, correct? So was that after his win overseas?
I think it might have been before. I'm not 100%.
I'm a little intrigued by Sungjae, and I thought that I thought the reverse line movement there in the markets was an interesting point.
That's definitely interesting. With
I think we bring him into the pool. Uncle T, you were off him though, right?
Well, are you sure he won the event overseas? I think that was somebody else you're thinking of.
No, he won.
Oh, did he?
It was a weird.
He got the putter, doesn't he? Have the new putter?
He was something like
he needs a new. He needs a new bag. He needs a new bag of clothes.
Hey, Uncle T, I got myself a new putter. I got myself a nice Scotty. You're in trouble whenever it is that we play again. You're in trouble.
So I don't need to make you. I don't need to make you pick up those 2 footers for par. You can make them. Now?
Yeah, I can. I was missing them before. I was definitely missing those 2-3 footers. All right, sorry, Snyder. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. I don't think I'm going to play Burnsy this week. I'm not going to play Day either. I will play some Adam Scott, though. I think Adam Scott's been playing some solid golf. This course sets up pretty good for him. He was T5 here last year, so I'll be in on some Adam Scott there. Lowry, I could play a little bit of him. I don't think his ownership's going to get too crazy, probably somewhere around 10%, so I could field him pretty easily, though, if I MME. Akshay, I've been playing a lot of Akshay this year. I'm going to just keep going to the well with him. Strong off the tee, great ball striker. He's gaining strokes across the board of the last 36 rounds, hitting greens in regulation at a near 70% clip as well. So in on Akshay. I'm going to be off Pendrith. Pendrith's actually a dog to Eckroat. Eckroat's a favorite over Pendrith this week, which I thought was interesting. So I'm off of Pendrith off the win last week. And then Denny's a guy that kind of caught my eye down there. Denny was
I like that. All 3 of us are on him.
Yeah.
Denny was another like a reverse line movement there. He's matched up against Harris English. Harris English opened -130, and now Denny's -110 against him. So he was another Vegas guy that I was looking at in the matchup markets that I like there. And then Tom Hoagie. I've been playing Tom Hoagie in most of the events. I think he's fine here. I mean, the approach play is just absolutely elite from him. I think he's good value still at 7-1, at 7-2, and then Chris Kirky at 7-1, another strong value I think at 7-1. So I'm gonna be in on both Hoagie and Kirky again this week. I mean, Kirky's just been playing some strong golf. I mean, he's been doing it across the board. The putter's been a little up and down from him, but he's hitting a ton of greens in regulation. He's good off the tee, so I'm gonna be playing Chris Kirky again at 7-1.
Now I'm surprised that, and I gotta bring this guy in myself. Like Sepp Straka, pretty good striker. The golf ball can hit it pretty far, but he just shows up in these type of events. Coming off a T16 at the Masters, I mean a T16 at the Players too. I mean we got to be on Sepp Straka. No one's going to veto me on bringing Sepp Straka.
I like Sepp.
Yeah, we got to bring Sepp in here. I'm not going to go crazy with the bumps or anything like that. I think a fine route in this value range, keep all of these guys kind of similar. We have our cuts, English, Pendrith, Billy Ho, we're not playing. Bezadenhout, I think none of us were on. I thought Roan Bird in chat, he had a good comment on Jason Day. I'm going to leave Jason. We can't play everyone. I'm going to leave him out. But I did think his comment in chat there was pretty compelling. Just, high ball flight, can hit it pretty far. But we can't play everyone in here. JT Poston, Tom Kim. Snyder, are you on any of those two?
If I was going to play either one, it would be JT Poston. I've played JT Poston a decent bit this year. I haven't really dove into him that much, but I think he'll be pretty low owned. I mean, I think Poston and Sepp will both be in that 5 to 7% range. So it'd be really easy to, play 10% of them and be over the weight.
I like that. I'm
Tom
just cleaning
Kim.
up some of these bumps.
Kim, guys, what happened to Tommy Kim?
He's just broken.
Like $7K. And we're not interested.
Sepp's minus 130 over Tom Kim. And
I don't like him. I'm just saying, what's going on?
He's one of those guys, though. I think if you're playing like 150 lineups, that you just mix them in. You mix them in a little bit. You get a little sprinkle, a little bit of a sprinkle, just because he's what, a 3-time winner. I mean, we had this conversation not too long ago. He's got that upside, and whenever he finds it, he's going to get it going, but he's obviously clearly broken. 6K range, Snyder, let's keep it with you. Let's kind of round things out. And again, you don't have to talk about every single guy. If you don't talk about him, I just know that, he's not going to be in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys in this range I really like for like upside in large field tournaments and such. I'm going to go right back to my guy, Jake Knapp. I think he's a strong off the tee guy. I mean, this is a comp to Farmers also, where he was a soldier at the Farmers, finished high up on there. I think he was top 10 or top 5 at the Farmers, kind of a comp course, I think. So I'm going to go right back to my guy, Jake Knapp, at 6,500. He can make birdies. I mean, he can score. I mean, you need that for 6,500 in a no-cut event. So in on Jake Knapp again. I like Cameron Davis, too, for the upside that he could bring. 6,400 Cameron Davis, 4 rounds. I like the upside that he could bring. It's more of like a boom bust option, but if he finished top 20, it definitely wouldn't surprise me. So Cameron Davis is in the field. I don't mind like Nick Taylor at 6,200. He's one of those guys that can kind of pop. Maybe wouldn't surprise if he finishes, top 30 or something. That's probably the lowest I would go, though. Not going to go to any of those guys under him. Some of the guys above him, like my guy Matthew Pavon, I mean, he's an upside guy. That he's got a great he can scramble great. He's got a great short game. We've seen him scramble often. He was another guy that was up there early in the year in some of these tougher, longer courses. So I'm in on Pavon there. Eckroat, I'm in on Eckroat. He's a favorite over Pendrith in the matchup market, 6,600. For Eckroat, I love the upside that he brings. He's another guy that could, in that 6K range, that could finish top 20, and it definitely wouldn't surprise me. In on him. My guy Taylor Moore, I've been playing him all year. I mean, he's 6,700. He was top 20 at the Masters. He's had some high finishes this year as well, so definitely going to go back to Taylor Moore. He followed up that T20 at the Masters with a T33 at the elevated event after that as well, so Taylor Moore at 6,700 is another guy I'll be looking at. So mainly it's just those guys. Glover's another guy you could throw in there too. I've been playing a lot of Glover too. He's another guy that could finish T30 really easily in this event.
Yeah, love those calls. We'll add them back in. Uncle T, 6K range. And real quick too, we all said that we're fine with kind of that stud in value approach, and which is why we got aggressive with Rory and with Wyndham. How many 6K guys, Uncle T, I'll talk to you since you were looking at that build. How many 6K golfers would you limit per build? Would you even put a rule in like that? If you were like even hand building, like not even using Sabre, just would that be a rule that's going through your head?
Yeah, I clearly haven't looked at that yet, AP, but it's a great question. I mean, normally you'd like to really not go down in here for 2 guys for the most part. But I do think this week's a different week. These guys up in the top of the 6K range, 66 and above. There's 4 guys. I mean, Snyder did mention, the good part is he mentioned nearly almost every guy that I had. So you'll be able to keep those guys in the pool, AP, because we're lockstep on a lot of these guys that he mentioned. Eckroat, Cam Davis is clearly a misprice. I mean, 6,400. I think DK did one of the worst jobs in a couple months in pricing this week. I just think it's really poor on, again, half a dozen, maybe 8 guys are just mispriced. Cam Davis is 80 to 1 to win the golf tournament, and he's 6,400. There's no reason he should be 6,400. So I'm all over Cam Davis down here at that price tag. And like Snyder said, no cut event, you get him for four rounds on these par fives. I think Cam Davis can do really well. Nick Taylor, I like him as well. Again, just way too cheap. 6,200 is too cheap of a price tag. Lucas Glover, like him. Eckroat. One guy I don't think you mentioned that he kind of, from the standpoint of the most recent history at this course, not the same level of golfer, but when we were talking about Benny On, struggled really at this course, but he's been playing incredible. Mackenzie Hughes, been playing some pretty solid golf on tour the last 4, 5, 6 trips or starts. He hasn't had the best success here, but 6,600, Mackenzie Hughes, I can probably put him in my pool. I love the call on Pavon, 6,500. Eric Cole's another guy that's, again, just feels too cheap. Jake Knapp, Snyder, good call on him last week. I was wrong. I know he faded a little bit on the back nine on Sunday, but that was a great call by you on your boy Knapp. I didn't have him last week, and he played really well, so nice call there. So, yeah, guys, the only other guy, and I waited the whole show to wait for this because I know you guys will probably make fun of me. Maybe a sliver. Maybe a sliver, AP.
Flower.
Maybe just a smidge. A smidge, Ricky Fowler.
No, why?
Just a little bit, just a sprinkle. His short game. I
gotta hear. I'm all ears.
I can't make a real compelling case, really. But the one thing I will say, looking back at his numbers, the last 2-3 events, he's been better. Like, what is Ricky?
Will you give me Keegan versus Ricky? Just straight up.
No, you didn't even let me explain. No, you
guys didn't talk about Keegan Bradley though.
Keegan Bradley.
I love Keegan in this range.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll take Keegan against your Ricky then.
All right. We'll do it for
a little lunch bet. Fun little lunch bet. Yeah, 50's good. 50's good. All right. I'll bring Ricky in, but I'm not going to give him much.
No, now again, I said don't make just a smith. His short game has been better recently, and the weapon that he's always had going back to when he was playing well was his putter. He always putted lights out. He's been awful with the putter. He's been a little bit better with the putter, a little bit better recently. And here's the last thing for me: 60 to 1 in the betting markets to win the golf tournament at 6,900. Snyder, break the tie.
Right.
Just a smidge.
I know which way Snyder's going. He's not playing Ricky Fowler, unless like Vegas was
4 rounds.
Unless Vegas like absolutely loved him.
4 rounds.
Pinnacle does like him a little better than like Lowry and Poston and Denny, which is
wait. Over Lowry? Shane Lowry?
Pinnacle has him plus 78.92 right now.
Look, I feel obliged now to give Ricky Fowler.
I don't know if I'm going to play him, but I mean, he does have good course history here, going back years ago.
I gotta add him to my my punts there.
I'm just saying, put him in the punt range, AP. Put him in the punt range because
he's 6,900.
Yeah,
I'm adding him in there.
I mean, he gets 4 rounds, right? I mean, Ricky can get hot with the putter a couple rounds and make some birdies for us.
Yeah, I like that.
He's got.
I think our pool is set up pretty well. We're set up to potentially have a little stud and value type of build. We didn't get crazy with the bumps down here. I'm really curious. I mean, if you don't, you do have, when you do it this way, you do have to be a little bit more aggressive with the guys up top, or else you're just going to get left with these kind of balanced builds, which is fine with this type of format. We're not trying to get too crazy. We're just trying to take the information that, both Snyder and Uncle T, and then a little bit for myself. We're trying to take it. We're trying to apply it to Sabre, and we're trying to optimize our builds. And so while I run this, unless anyone else has some final comments. So the guys that we got to the 8-point value are Wyndham Clark, really close against Rory, but I like Wyndham with the discount. Justin Thomas, odds thing. I think all 3 of us were on him. Willie Z, obviously. Definitely Willie Z. And then Cam Davis. I think Cam Davis was the other guy. Yeah, Cam Davis. Well, you guys agree with that? With those 4? I feel pretty good about it. Snyder?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
I'm going to run this. We're going to see what our builds look like. Let's get to our winners, though, while this is running. Let's just give 2 winners. How do you feel? You feel good about that, too? I think we did, 3 last time, Uncle T?
I think we did 3, but we can do 2.
And we're just going to look at our top 10 builds. Just going over my settings right here. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to leave a lot of salary. 49.7, I think, is perfectly fine. We don't need a pool size for what we're doing right now. We're not going to do contest sims. Let's just do a pool size of our top 500 builds. I like a little bit I usually leave sim diversity. Now, if I get really aggressive with changing the projections, I will bring sim diversity down. But for this format right here, I want to bring some of these other players kind of into the mix. So I'm going to leave sim diversity right at 5 just for this exercise here. And I'm going to run this. Uncle T, give us your winners this week.
Yeah, I will say I really like the way this week sets up. It's good going through this show, talking through the golfers with you guys. We'll have, today and tomorrow, to put our builds together. I really like where we're at. I will say, I do think, again, big boy course, and we keep saying it, been saying it the whole show. I don't think the winner's really going to come from the middle to the bottom of the pack. I just don't see anyone for 4 rounds getting through this golf course and beating these top golfers. I'm going with Wyndham Clark. I think he's going to get it done back to back. I'm going with Wyndham 14-1 at the top of the board. Obviously, I'm going to have a ton of him and Rory, like we talked about. But I think Wyndham gets it done back to back. He's my top guy, 14-1. And then going down the board a little bit, I'll be anxious to see what this guy's price tag is when the PGA comes out. What do you guys think Will Zalatoris' price tag will be at the PGA when the pricing comes out? He won't be 7,900, right?
He'll probably be in the 8K range.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8K range.
8K? Yeah.
Like 8,300, I bet, something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave him for Snyder. I'm gonna take Akshay Bhatia, 45-1. I think you can get still. I'm gonna go with Akshay. Been playing some really good golf. He's been putting lights out. So I like Akshay down the board a little bit, but I gotta be honest. I think this is gonna be a big boy course. A big boy, one of the horses are gonna win this.
Yeah, very good. I'm gonna go next just to steal Snyder's spot. Look, man, like JT, I'm just gonna take the JT square. I'm with you. I think it could be Rory, Wyndham, a guy up top. But look, the big dogs aren't. A lot of the big dogs, Ludwig, Scotty, like those guys aren't here. So someone like JT, it's just now is the time. Now has to be the time for JT. And then my longer shot is my guy Sepp Straka. I think I saw 50-1. I like how Sepp's playing in these type of events. I really do. Hits it straight, can hit it far, shows up for the big time events. You get 4 guaranteed rounds from Sepp. I think he brings it. I like how the course sets up, so that's going to be my long shot for the week. Snyder, give us your 2 winners, and then we'll walk through the builds here, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I think I'm in lockstep with Uncle T up top. I'm going to go with Mr. Ham.
Let's go.
16-1. You can get a 16 out there on DraftKings right now. So I like Mr. Ham at 16-1. I think he's going to get it done. Scotty's not in the field to contend with him, so he can get the dub here. So I'm going to go there. I do like Zalatoris, but I just worry about his win equity. He's really had troubles closing events out and stuff, kind of like Xander. I think he's a great top 10 bet, though, for Zalatoris. He's a great DFS play at that price tag. But I'm going to go let's go and find I really don't like any of these guys down here. I'm just going to come back up. I'm going to go with Hideki at 35-1. I think that's a good price tag on Hideki to win at 35-1 odds.
All right. Love it. Very good. We're going to go through what I call our top 3 lineups. And now what I did, if you're someone that there's a couple routes. Like if you're a 3-max type of player, you can hand build. That's perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you want to use the optimizer and if you want to use our partner SaberSim, here's a route that I love doing. Take the content, whatever content that it is that you lean on each week, go through a similar process that we went through on this show, run it, sort by highest projected, and then add in uniques. 3 uniques is what I used if we were doing a 3-max type of strategy. I think that's perfectly fine. It offers up some diversification for your 3 portfolio build. The other thing that you can do is you can set a min max. So you can, if someone was coming in, all right, so Rory was coming in at 100%, or if he was in all of our lineups, let's see, I don't think we have for the top 3, we're not going to have anyone at 100%, but you can cap that exposure there. So this first build, really interesting. Denny, Willie Z, Cam Davis, JT, Max Homa, Wyndham Clark. I mean, look, pricing's pretty fair, and I really like how the 1 stud, a mid-tier, 2 mid-tiers, and then a couple value type of builds really set up. Our number 2, Willie Z, JT, Cam Davis, Cole, Rory. All right, so Uncle T, that's what you're talking about. Those double stud builds, I think, are really, really interesting. And it's not like we went crazy. Everyone saw the process that we went through here on the show. We're not manipulating things too much. We set the rule where we're only allowing at least 2 players in the 6K range into our builds, and they're good names. I mean, Cam Davis, like we said, he's just mispriced. And then the other, our third build here is a Rory, JT, Eckroat, Cam Davis, Cam Young, Willie Z. So it'll be interesting, guys. I'm going to make note of these builds, and it will be interesting to kind of review this next week to see how those finished. Any reactions from you guys or any final thoughts with these builds or anything for this week?
I ran some sims earlier just to see kind of what was all going, and yeah, I was seeing some Rory and Mr. Ham builds definitely coming in there for the double studs. I think that'll be kind of popular this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. Uncle T, you brought it up first. After going through this process, final thoughts? You think you're committing to that double stud value? I mean, look, like if you play Cam Davis, it's not hard to make that path work. And we all talked like we weren't in love with that 9K range. So, final thoughts from you, Uncle T.
Yeah, I like where we're at, and I love the new format too. Now that we've gone through it for a show, we go through it, and AP, you're behind the scenes here, kind of. Or not behind the scenes, but you're kind of going through it, and then we kind of put some builds out there. I actually like that for myself and for the people. So no, I like that quite a bit. I like where at least I'm at right now. And again, get in the Discord. We'll kind of give you some thoughts and opinions or things tomorrow night if things change. But I really like the double stud or just grabbing one of them guys and then 3-8. But I want to try to stay away from 2 of the 6Ks, but when you go through those AP, a couple of those are some nice builds. So I might have to back off my stance on that because I think you can get probably a better build if you do go ahead, if a couple of them do put in 2 of those 6K range guys. So I actually like that. And my last comment is just to the guys in chat. We appreciate you guys for watching every Tuesday night with us. I won't mention everybody, but appreciate you guys. Good luck this week. And big week next week at Valhalla. So let's get it done this week, build that bankroll, get it ready for next week.
Yeah, we will be back next week. We'll go through the same process, very similar to what we did here. Any feedback, send it my way. Discord, Twitter, we'll get back to you. But I really like this process. I know it's going to help me with my process as well. And then look, at the start of next week, really briefly, I'm going to review those top 3 builds. And if they suck, they suck. We all make fun of it, and then we dial back in through this same process. So for Snyder, for Uncle T, and for all of you out there, let's run Pier.